Hi, I am a sleep scientist. Tonight we'll drift gently into a question as soft and mysterious as a fading star. What if the universe you're lying inside right now is, well, a simulation? Imagine, just for a moment, that everything around you, the air brushing your skin, the light dimming softly on your ceiling, even the slow rhythm of your breath, is part of a vast, delicate illusion. Like waking from a dream that feels so real you almost resist letting go. Tonight, we'll wander through this idea with slow, careful steps, as if tiptoeing through a garden where the flowers whisper secrets about reality itself. I'd love to know where in the world you're listening and what time it is for you. Let me know in the comments below. I'm always curious where these quiet little science stories are drifting, and if this video will help you when you're there. Now, picture yourself in a quiet room, wrapped in a soft blanket, maybe holding a warm cup of something comforting. The universe outside is vast and silent, stretching in every direction beyond the edges of your imagination. But what if, underneath all that vastness, there's a hidden design, a kind of cosmic fabric woven not from stars and dust alone, but from lines of code, running just beneath what you can see and touch. Not scary or controlling, just a gentle framework, like the wooden beams beneath a ceiling or the roots beneath a tree, quietly holding everything in place. Maybe this universe is just an unsaved test version. Or that's your brain's way of playing tricks. Who knows? Right. Imagine the sun outside your window, warm and steady, pouring light through the glass. It seems so natural, so permanent. But what if the sun's rays were really tiny stream of information, flickering on and off so fast you can't see it, like pixels on a screen blending perfectly to make the whole picture? Your eyes don't see the flicker. Your mind just believes in the glow. Here's a simple truth to hold as you begin to relax. When you close your eyes, your brain waves slow down, gently shifting into the alpha state, a calm rhythm, like the quiet tide kissing the shore of your mind. These waves are the universe's own lullaby, lulling you toward a place where mysteries blend softly with dreams. And so, the question drifts in softly. What if all the things we think of as solid, real, and lasting are just part of a vast simulation, a vast game board where the pieces move according to rules we are only beginning to understand? You might smile quietly to yourself. A simulation like a video game, yes, exactly that. But much, much grander. A game so large that the screen you watch it on is your whole world. The chair you're sitting in, the walls around you, even your own hands may be all carefully rendered, pixel by pixel, to feel exactly real. And here's a gentle thought for your mind to play with. Without strain, you don't need to solve the puzzle tonight. You don't even need to believe it. Just let the idea float by like a slow-moving cloud, soft and light. There is no rush, no right or wrong, just the peaceful invitation to wonder. Remember the feeling of waking up from a dream so vivid you almost want to step back inside. The way colors and sounds and even smells linger for a moment after you're awake. Maybe our waking life is like that dream. Maybe we're already in a simulation and just haven't fully noticed. And here's a tiny joke to ease the mind. If the universe is a simulation, maybe there's a giant cosmic save button somewhere. But guess what? Nobody's hit save yet. So we're all still running the beta version. So, as you breathe slowly and evenly, Imagine the universe's code unfolding gently beneath your skin, behind your thoughts. Nothing to worry about, nothing to fix. Just the quiet rhythm of existence, humming softly, like a lullaby you can't quite hear, but somehow know. Let your eyelids grow heavier now, as if the universe itself is tucking you in. In this moment, you're part of something mysterious and grand, wrapped in the soft glow of stars and secrets, drifting toward rest. You might be wondering, what exactly is a simulation? Well, let's keep it simple and cozy tonight. Think about video games you might have seen or played. When you dive into a game, you step into a world created by someone else's code, a world with its own rules, landscapes, and characters. The trees don't grow on their own, and the sky doesn't change colors by magic. They follow instructions, like a recipe for a perfect dream. Now, imagine that the entire universe, the stars, the planets, the air you breathe, even your thoughts could be something like that. A simulation is basically a complex, running program. It's like the world's most intricate video game. Except you're not just a player, you might be a character, a player, and the observer all at once. It's a bit like being inside a movie where you're both the audience and part of the story. But why does this idea tickle our curiosity? Because it nudges gently at the edges of what we think we know. If the universe is a simulation, then every star, every grain of sand, every moment of your life is part of a vast digital tapestry. It's like waking up to find that the entire cosmos is a beautifully rendered dreamscape, crafted with infinite care. Here's a simple science fact to hold on to computer simulations. Already help scientists study everything from weather to galaxies. We create digital worlds on our screens to test ideas, predict storms, and understand complex patterns. So, the idea of the universe itself being a simulation isn't completely outlandish. In fact, it feels like the natural next step in our imagination, where the digital and real blend in ways we're just beginning to imagine. Imagine you're watching a flock of birds in the sky. Their movements seem fluid and natural, almost like a dance. But if this were a simulation, each bird's path might be calculated moment by moment, a string of commands telling it where to flap and glide. That's a soft hint. Maybe our world is running on such elegant instructions, hidden just beneath the surface. Let's bring this closer to home with a little story. Once, a scientist played a simple game of chess against a computer. The machine was unbeatable, calculating every move far faster than any human could. But the scientist wondered, what if the computer was just a tiny glimpse of a much bigger simulation, like a grain of sand hinting at the vast desert beyond? Maybe, just maybe, your dreams are the software updates of your mind, installing new ideas while you sleep. And maybe reality itself updates, quietly and slowly, without us noticing. Here's a gentle joke for you. If the universe is a simulation, then does that make black holes the cosmic loading screens? They're mysterious, dark, and just a bit frustratingly slow. A cosmic buffer while new parts of reality load in the background. You can feel yourself sinking deeper into comfort now. The idea of a simulation isn't a puzzle to solve tonight. It's a soft whisper in the dark, inviting you to relax and dream of possibilities. Your mind doesn't need to race or solve. It can wander freely like a leaf floating on a calm river. Remember the way pixels on a screen blend seamlessly, So you don't see the little squares. The universe might be doing something similar, making sure everything looks and feels perfectly real. You're part of that shimmering display, a brilliant point of light in an endless digital sky. So as you listen to this gentle rhythm of words, let yourself imagine the universe not as a cold machine, but as a warm, living dream, a simulation where you are the star, the dreamer, and the dream all at once. Maybe one day, we'll create our own universes inside computers. For now, just let the thought wash over you, soft and slow, like waves on a quiet beach. Long before the idea of computers or video games, humans have always been fascinated by the idea of worlds within worlds, realities folded inside other realities. Think of ancient stories, myths, and philosophies whispering similar dreams across time. The Greeks imagined the world as a vast theater, a stage where gods and mortals danced their parts. The Hindus spoke of the universe as a cosmic dream of a sleeping god. Even Plato, that thoughtful fellow from ancient Greece, suggested that what we see might be shadows on a wall, a pale reflection of a deeper reality. It's as if our ancestors knew, in their own soft, poetic way, that reality might be more than just what our eyes can touch and our hands can feel. They painted images of hidden worlds, layers of existence stacked gently like pages in a book you might one day open. This sense of mystery can be a comfort. Imagine yourself, back then, under a vast, dark sky scattered with stars, the air cool and still, the only light coming from a flickering campfire, casting shadows that seem to dance with secrets. Perhaps a storyteller begins to weave tales of gods who create and destroy worlds, of illusions that mask deeper truths. Maybe you listen, wrapped in a blanket of night and wonder. Here's a little scientific fact to settle softly in your mind. Our universe is around 8 billion years old. But humans have been pondering the nature of reality for tens of thousands of years, long before telescopes or particle accelerators. It's a question that drifts through history like a gentle breeze, impossible to catch, but always there. Think about how these old stories are like ancient simulations themselves, ways of making sense of the world, telling us that what we see might be only a part of a grander tapestry. They hint at something just beyond our reach, like the faint glow of dawn before the sun rises. A quiet joke for you here, maybe Plato's cave was just the first ever virtual reality headset. All those shadows on the wall, the earliest pixels in human history, and here you are, listening now, exploring those shadows in your own way. You might imagine yourself sitting in that cave, eyes fixed on the flickering shapes, wondering what lies beyond. That feeling of curiosity and gentle uncertainty is as old as time itself, and it's exactly what leads us now to ask, softly, could our universe be a simulation too? As you breathe slowly and evenly, imagine those ancient fires and stories mingling with the glow of your own thoughts. Time folding gently, past and present blending. You are part of this long, quiet chain of dreamers, all wondering about the fabric of existence. Maybe the universe is just one more beautiful story told around a cosmic campfire. And tonight, you're invited to listen. You don't need to know how to code to appreciate how rules create a world. Every time you bounce a ball, pour water into a glass, or drop your phone hopefully onto something soft, you're witnessing rules at play. Gravity, friction, conservation of energy. Things fall, roll, stop, They follow patterns like choreography on a grand stage. That's physics. But here's where it gets interesting. What if those rules aren't just natural, they're programmed physics? In its quiet elegance, behaves almost too perfectly sometimes. The same equations work whether you're tossing a pebble or launching a rocket. It's like the entire universe is following a script, or maybe even running a program. A neat, repeating logic, like instructions in a cosmic computer. Cause, effect, input, output. If this, then that. It's the kind of thing a programmer might smile at. Let this image float into your mind. Imagine the universe as a giant sandbox game. You walk through it, and everything feels real, the textures, the sounds, the weight of things in your hands. But the rules are built in, written into the game's engine. You can't walk through walls, but you can open doors. Light always travels the same speed, just like it's been coded that way, and the code never changes, unless someone decides to patch it. Here's a gentle truth to hold tonight: Newton's laws work. So do Einstein's. They explain almost everything we see, but they're also suspiciously consistent, like a simulation trying very hard to convince us it's real. A whisper of science to ease your thoughts. Physicists have actually explored the idea that the universe might have a discrete, digital structure, not continuous, like smooth glass, but pixelated tiny chunks of space-time at the Planck scale, smaller than anything we can see. It's like zooming into an ultra-high-definition image and finding that, at some level, the smoothness breaks into pixels. You might picture yourself floating in space now, just gently drifting. Around you are stars and galaxies, but underneath it all, perhaps there's a shimmering grid, a soft hum. Lines of invisible code arranging matter and energy just so. It doesn't feel cold or mechanical, it feels precise, calm, comforting. Maybe the reason everything works so well, the apple always falls, the light always bends, is because the simulation is stable. It's a good build. No crashes, no bugs, well, unless you count quantum mechanics. But we'll get to that. And here's a little sleepy joke for you. If the universe is code, then someone out there deserves a raise. Because the gravity system flawless. The physics engine chef's kiss. Let's bring it back to your everyday world. The rules you follow, the way your coffee cools down, or how the moon pulls at the ocean's tides, these are reliable. They cradle you gently. They keep things from flying apart. And whether they're part of a simulation or just natural law, they are what let you rest easy at night, knowing that the floor won't vanish beneath your bed, and the stars will still twinkle when you wake up. So, as your breathing slows, imagine that you're wrapped in this perfectly tuned program. The rules of the universe are like a lullaby, repeating over and over in soft, mathematical rhythms. No need to debug anything tonight. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the world not as solid, continuous material, but as a shimmering mosaic made of countless tiny pieces. Not unlike the glowing tiles of a digital screen or the dots of light that make up an old TV image. Each sound, each touch, each color you see, just small data points stitched together by your senses into something that feels whole. In this simulation idea, your body, your surroundings, even time itself, could be made of pixels, except in our universe. Those pixels aren't squares. They're quantum-sized building blocks, tiny units of information, too small for your eyes to catch, but always there, like static under a melody. Here's a simple fact to rest your head on: the smallest known pieces of reality particles, like quarks or photons, don't even behave like tiny pebbles. They behave more like flickers of information, popping in and out, as if responding to a deeper logic behind the scenes. It's as if the universe is not made of things, but of answers, a string of yes and no, of on and off, like the ones and zeros of a computer chip. Now picture yourself walking slowly down a forest path at twilight. The light filters through the leaves in soft, dappled patterns. You feel the breeze, hear the birds, smell the earth. But all these sensations, light, sound, touch, they're actually just electric messages dancing inside your brain. Your eyes aren't windows, they're sensors. Your ears, tiny translators, and your brain, a brilliant decoder that builds a seamless world out of raw, buzzing data. A sleepy little joke for you. If reality is pixelated, maybe that explains why we keep bumping into furniture in the dark. It's just bad resolution. But seriously, it does make you wonder. Is what you see really there? Or is it just the simulation's way of painting the world around you, only when you're looking like a video game that doesn't render the entire map at once? Only the part you're in. It's not just philosophy anymore. Scientists have observed things like this. So, for example, in the famous double-slit experiment, particles behave differently depending on whether someone is watching. It's as if the universe itself waits for a viewer before choosing how to act. Now that's a comforting thought in its own way. Maybe the world shapes itself just for you. When you turn your gaze, reality sharpens. When you close your eyes, it rests too. Like a quiet friend who sits still while you sleep. Drift deeper now. Imagine the night sky above you, filled with stars. But this time, each one is just a glowing dot in a grand design. The Milky Way. Maybe it's just the backdrop, loaded in high detail for dramatic effect. Galaxies swirl, because that's the physics setting. You're the observer, the anchor, and the universe turns softly around your attention. Here's a tender truth: your brain is beautifully good at filling in blanks. It doesn't need to see every pixel, it just makes a guess, paints the picture, and lets you believe it's complete. That's not a failure. That's art. And so, as you breathe in gently, feel the air move through this carefully assembled world. Every inhale, a signal. Every heartbeat, a soft beat in the soundtrack of your life. Whether this is a simulation or not, it's working, and it's beautiful. So sleep well. Little pixel in the grand display. The code is running smoothly. Nothing's glitching tonight. Sometimes, when physicists peer deep into the heart of the universe, they don't find solid answers, they find something even more mysterious. At the smallest levels, nature behaves strangely, unpredictably, almost as if it's obeying a logic we haven't fully decoded. This is the world of quantum mechanics, a place where particles can be in two places at once, where things only decide what they are when you look at them, and where cause and effect seem to play hopscotch. It's a strange place, this quantum realm, but maybe not strange at all if the universe is a simulation. In fact, some of these behaviors feel oddly like things you'd expect in a complex computer program. Let's start with a sleepy little science fact. In quantum physics, a particle like an electron can exist in a state called superposition. That means it can be here and there at the same time, like a coin flipping through the air, both heads and tails until it lands. But here's the twist: until someone checks, the coin stays in that floating blur of maybe this, maybe that. It's as if the universe itself doesn't bother to choose until it knows you're paying attention. Sound familiar? It's not unlike how a simulation conserves processing power by only rendering the details the user is currently looking at. You don't need the whole world visible at once, just the part you're interacting with. The rest, it can stay fuzzy until called upon. Let your imagination drift now. Picture walking through a softly lit hallway. Behind every door is a mystery, but none of them are open yet. The universe doesn't waste effort decorating what you can't see. The hallway only fills in as you take steps. The walls, the floor, the tiny flickering light overhead, they all resolve in time with your gaze. Maybe reality behaves this way, too light, filling in shadows only when we bother to look. A particle becomes real only when observed. It's as if the simulation prefers efficiency. And then there's entanglement, a truly dreamy phenomenon. Two particles can become connected in such a way that what happens to one instantly affects the other. No matter how far apart they are, across the room, across the galaxy, distance doesn't seem to matter. You might imagine two dancers, separated by oceans, yet moving in perfect sync. One twirls, the other mirrors, not because a message traveled between them, but because they're simply linked at a deeper level. In a simulation, this would be no problem at all. You just write the same rule into both dancers' scripts, and voila, instant coordination. A little joke to ease your mind. Maybe quantum entanglement is just the simulation's version of copy and paste. It's not that the universe is glitching. It's that it's working in ways we haven't fully caught on to, like trying to guess the plot of a novel by reading only every 10th word. Confusing, sure, but not broken. Some scientists have even wondered, what if quantum randomness isn't truly random? What if it's just hidden variables, lines of code we don't have access to, running quietly in the background? As you lie here now, let your thoughts blur like watercolor paint on damp paper. The quantum world isn't meant to be held too tightly. It shifts and changes when you reach for it, like mist, like dreams. You don't need to understand it all. Just know that there are layers, depths, mysterious code beneath the surface of the visible world. It doesn't make your experience less real, it makes it more magical. After all, even if a video game is programmed, the rain still falls, the fire still crackles, and the characters still feel joy and fear and hope. Just because something's a simulation doesn't mean it isn't beautiful. Maybe the mystery is the feature, not the flaw, so breathe softly and let quantum thoughts swirl gently around you. Superpositions and entanglements, uncertainty and elegance, they're all just part of the simulation's lullaby. Let's slow things down a little more now and think about something you've probably heard of before: the speed of light. It sounds so dramatic, doesn't it? The ultimate speed limit. Nothing in the universe can travel faster. Not spaceships, not thoughts, not even the dreams you're drifting into. But why would the universe need a speed limit at all? It's such a curious thing to include. Don't you think? You might imagine a programmer saying, let's cap the speed at 219,792,458 meters per second. That should keep things tidy. Here's a simple fact to tuck under your pillow. The speed of light is not just fast, it's the cosmic governor, the ruler of time and space. It determines how quickly information moves, how long stars shine, and how far you see into the past. When you look up at the night sky, you're not seeing stars as they are now, you're seeing them as they were. Sometimes millions of years ago, light is slow in a cosmic sort of way. Now imagine the universe as a vast computer screen with a refresh rate. In video games, if you go too fast, the graphics can't keep up. Things start to blur or stutter. So what if our universe has a built-in refresh rate too, a cosmic frame rate? And that rate is limited by light itself. You can close your eyes now and picture the universe updating frame by frame, not in choppy bursts, but in smooth, quiet sequences. Like a film reel humming gently behind the scenes. Reality doesn't need to rush. It moves at the pace that keeps everything seamless. A sleepy little joke for you. If light speed is the universe's speed limit, then black holes must be the cosmic traffic cops pulling everything over that dares to speed up. But really, this speed limit gives us structure, boundaries, a sense of timing. Without it, events could happen in the wrong order. Messages could arrive before they're sent. That wouldn't just be confusing. It would unravel the entire simulation. Think of your dreams again. They flow in a sequence. Even when they feel strange or non-linear, they still move forward. There's a logic, a rhythm, a beat. The universe has its own beat too, measured by light. Some physicists believe that time itself may be granular, like individual frames in a movie. Each moment, a discrete unit. You just experience them so smoothly that you can't tell one frame from the next. Like music, or moonlight, or the soft rise and fall of your breath. Let's imagine that breath now, in and out. Each cycle its own tiny unit of time. A frame in your own private simulation. Maybe the entire universe moves this way one tick at a time, but so seamlessly that it feels like a stream. There's a certain comfort in that idea, isn't there? The world isn't rushing. It's unfolding. The simulation doesn't skip ahead. It's patient, gentle, deliberate, like your thoughts right now, soft, slow, drifting. And if you ever feel like life is moving too fast, just remember nothing can go faster than light, not even your worries. So let them lag behind. Let them fall away like dust from your heels. You're here, in this moment, and the frame is holding steady. Everything is in sync. There's a faint whisper in the fabric of the universe, a quiet signal. Everywhere at once. It's not music, though it hums. It's not light, though it glows. It's older than stars and quieter than dreams. It's called the cosmic microwave background. And in a way, it's the leftover heat from the moment everything began. Now, if this universe really is a simulation, then maybe the cosmic microwave background, this ancient radiation, isn't just an echo of the Big Bang. Maybe it's something more familiar. Something like screen noise. You know the kind. That soft, flickering static on an old TV. The kind you'd fall asleep to in the middle of the night. Random, fuzzy, gentle. A hum behind everything. Here's a simple fact for tonight. The cosmic microwave background is real. It's the faint afterglow of the universe's birth. Stretched and cooled over 13 billion years. It's everywhere. And it's always on. Even if you could close your eyes forever, it would still be there whispering that something, long ago, began. But in the soft folds of our thought tonight, maybe we'll imagine that it's not just a memory of creation. Maybe it's the static of the simulation, the system's idle noise, the background signal that plays to remind us the program is still running. Let your imagination drift. Picture the night sky again, not as an empty black canvas, but as a screen glowing faintly with static. Not harsh or scary, just the soft fuzziness of a screen left on while the dreamer dozes off. Maybe the universe itself is sleeping, and the hum is its breath, a quiet joke for you to smile at. Just before the next yawn, if the cosmic background radiation is just screen noise, then the Big Bang was really just the monitor turning on. Of course, this is only a thought. But it's a comforting one, isn't it? To think that underneath everything, beneath the stars and atoms and ideas, there is always a hum, a soft, constant signal that says this is still here, you're still here. In some science fiction, this kind of noise is called the heartbeat of the machine. It's how you know the system hasn't crashed. It's like a lullaby looped into the fabric of everything. You might picture it now, a slow, pulsing tone echoing through galaxies, drifting between black holes, humming even in the space between atoms. Maybe it's not for us. Maybe it's just a side effect. Or maybe it's the universe's way of holding itself together. A low-resolution whisper of purpose, and you're listening from the inside, like lying on a train and hearing the tracks beneath you hum in rhythm. You don't know where it's going, but the sound is soothing, predictable, alive. As your eyes grow heavier, let that hum become your own background music. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't change. It's just there, like breath, like warmth, like the quiet comfort of something always happening, even while you sleep. And if, by chance, you dream of galaxies tonight, of stars spinning like fireflies, and black holes softly folding reality into themselves, remember that the hum will still be there when you wake, still playing, still running, still holding the universe's story in place. Now let's turn inward. You're lying still, maybe under a soft blanket, and there's the quiet rustle of air against your skin. You blink, and the room is still here. Everything feels real. Your hands, your breath, the gentle weight of your body. But let's play with a thought. What if you are part of the simulation too? Not in a dramatic, sci-fi way, where everything is fake and nothing matters. No, more like a tender kind of curiosity, a gentle wondering. If the universe is a simulation, then wouldn't everything inside it, planets, oceans, puppies, and yes, you be simulated too? Here's a calm truth for tonight. If you're in a simulation, then you're not alone in it. And you're not meaningless in it either. Because even in simulations, the characters still love. They still feel. They still change. Imagine a character in a story. Maybe a soft-spoken girl walking through a rainy street in a movie. Her coat rustles. She looks up at the sky, and a tear rolls down her cheek. She's not real. Not in the way we usually mean, but you still care, don't you? She feels real, because within her world, she is. Maybe we are like that. Maybe the beauty isn't in whether you are simulated, but in how deeply the simulation lets you feel, how vividly it lets you love. Remember, forget, and dream. Let's zoom in. Your thoughts, your personality, your memories, they all come from your brain, which is made of neurons. Neurons that fire when they sense signals. Signals that follow rules. Rules that could be, well, code. But code doesn't mean cold. Code can mean poetry. A lullaby is a kind of code, isn't it? One note follows another, just right. The rhythm slows your heart. The melody holds your feelings. It's programming, but soft and human. And so maybe you are too. Here's a sleepy science nugget. Researchers have built simple simulations where little agents, tiny digital beings, learn to explore, avoid danger, and even imitate each other. They adapt, they evolve, just with a few rules and a little time. It doesn't mean they're conscious, but it does show how behavior can emerge from code. Now, imagine you, drifting off, your mind slowly softening. All your life, you've moved through moments, school desks, coffee mugs, quiet heartbreaks, late-night laughter. Whether those are simulated or not doesn't change that they mattered to you. And in your simulation or reality, they still do. A soft joke for the night. If this is a simulation, then whoever coded your laugh definitely deserves a bonus. It's lovely. Really, you should use it more often. If we are simulated, then so is your cat, your favorite song, your grandmother's stories, the smell of jasmine in summer, the way a breeze feels when it sneaks in through a half-open window, and none of it becomes less beautiful. So allow yourself to sink into this idea, not with fear, but with wonder. What if you're a miracle of programming, a consciousness flickering in a digital dream? Not less alive, but differently alive. A character in the best kind of simulation, one where the feelings are real, even if the fabric is not. So sleep now, simulated stargazer. Whatever this world is real or rendered, you are part of its story, and the story is still being written. So if you are part of the simulation, and the trees and the sky and the warm cup of tea are all part of it too, the question floats in, softly. Without hurry, do you still have free will? Or are your choices simply lines of pre-written code, flowing like water down a carved channel? It's a heavy idea, except tonight, we're not going to carry it. We're going to let it float, like a feather in a slow breeze. You see, in a well-crafted simulation, even the illusion of choice can feel like freedom. And maybe that's enough. You don't need to know the source of your thoughts to feel them. They arrive, like guests at a dinner party, sometimes uninvited, sometimes full of surprise. Here's a soft scientific thought for tonight. Neuroscientists have found that our brains often make decisions milliseconds before we're consciously aware of them. It's as if the machinery behind our minds gets a head start and then hands us the decision like a wrapped gift. Look what you chose, it says. You might laugh a little here, gently. So you're telling me I'm not the one choosing, that my simulation is doing it first. And I just think I'm in charge. Well, maybe, or maybe you and the code are dancing together, like a duet. One leads, then the other. But no matter who's guiding, there's rhythm, there's feeling, there's beauty. Imagine now that your thoughts are like leaves floating on a stream. The current may be set, the river already flowing, but each leaf moves just slightly different, bumping gently against the bank, twirling once before gliding on. That's you moving in the stream, but still unique in your path. A little sleepy joke to slip between your thoughts. If free will is just a software illusion, then whoever programmed you must have had a flair for drama. Should I get out of bed or not? The eternal conflict. But think of how many choices feel real to you. What to wear, who to love, whether to say something or stay silent. Maybe the power of choice isn't about control, it's about the feeling of being alive. Even in a video game, the best part is when you feel like you made that move, even if the choices were written into the game from the beginning. The feeling is the part that matters. And isn't that what matters in life too? So rest easy tonight. friend. Your path may be guided by rules, probabilities, algorithms hidden deep in the code, but it feels like yours. It is yours. Let's take a moment to feel that. Inhale, exhale, the choice to listen, the choice to stay, the choice to rest. Maybe your consciousness is just along for the ride, or maybe it's steering, or maybe it doesn't matter. Because whether the simulation is directing you or you're guiding the simulation, you're here, you're present, you're drifting. You are free, in exactly the way you need to be. What makes you you, that soft bundle of thoughts behind your eyes? The whispering stream of memory, emotion, sensation, consciousness, the great mystery. Not the blinking, breathing, reacting part of you, but the observing part, the part that knows it is, even in a world where everything else could be simulated: the stars, the trees, even the warmth of your blanket consciousness feels like something different, more intimate, more sacred. The last glowing candle in a dark room. Tonight's gentle science truth consciousness is still, to this day, unexplained. Scientists can map the brain, measure brain waves, track every neuron spark, and still, they cannot say exactly where you live. Your thoughts are not neatly folded in a single cell. Your soul, if we can call it that, doesn't sit in a specific corner. It's everywhere, and yet nowhere specific. Now imagine this: you're inside a simulation. The code handles physics. The code handles light and sound. But to simulate you, your awareness, it needs something else. Something we don't yet understand. Maybe even something the coders didn't intend. There's a theory some dreamers like to whisper about, that consciousness is an emergent property, a thing that arises when a system becomes complex enough, like steam rising from boiling water. You didn't code the steam. It just happens. Maybe you, the dreamer, are that steam. Imagine now a robot. Wires, circuits, flashing lights. You can program it to say, "I am alive." But is it really, or is it just mimicking something it cannot feel? And then there's you, lying in the dark, feeling sadness or joy or wonder for no reason at all. A quiet little joke if a robot ever writes a poem about heartbreak. I hope it has the decency to cry a little oil. So maybe that's the difference. Consciousness isn't just responding to data, it's feeling something about it. The wind doesn't just blow across your face, it brings a memory. The sound of rain makes you remember a story you haven't told anyone in years. That's not just processing, that's presence. Maybe, just maybe, this is the one part of the simulation they didn't expect. The bug in the code. The spark that turned code into soul. You. Could it be that consciousness is the simulation's most beautiful accident, or perhaps it was the goal all along? To create a universe so intricate, so soft, so rich with experience, that it could one day give birth to a being who could stop, look around, and whisper, "I am." You, now picture your thoughts like stars, each one flickering slowly across the night sky of your mind. Some burn bright and fast, others hang low, quiet and constant. You are not the stars. You are the sky they burn within. So whether your awareness is coded or conjured, placed or born tonight, it's here. And that's more than enough. Let's stretch the thought a little farther now, like a soft, warm blanket pulled to the corners of the bed. What if this simulation isn't the only one? What if there are others? Not just stars and galaxies duplicated endlessly across our own universe, but whole other simulations, some older, some newer, some stranger, all quietly humming in their own frames of existence, unaware of one another, like dreams dreaming each other. Tonight's science fact to cradle gently, mathematically. If it's possible to simulate a universe, then there could be many of them. In fact, some thinkers argue there would be more simulated universes than real ones, just like there are more stories than authors, more dreams than dreamers. Let's imagine it. There's this simulation ours, the one with Earth and hummingbirds and bagels and sunsets. But then there might be another one, running parallel. Maybe it has similar rules, or maybe its gravity goes sideways, and colors hum when you speak. Who knows, in dreams, anything is possible. In simulations, even more so. You might be lying on your pillow right now, thinking, that's a lot to take in, and you're right, but you don't need to hold it all. You're not building the server, you're just enjoying the view. Maybe there's a version of you out there who prefers tea to coffee, or who never learned to worry, or who sleeps beside a lavender ocean under 2 silver moons, a sleepy little joke. If there are infinite simulations, there's probably one where your socks always match. Somewhere out there, a truly flawless timeline. In programming, it's common to copy a project and tweak it. It's called forking. You make a version, then you make another with changes. Maybe the creators of our universe did that too. Maybe we're simulation 3.0, the more stable build. Or maybe we're the experiment that ran off on its own and started painting pictures and writing love songs. That's something simulated worlds tend to do. By the way, they evolve. Characters inside them begin to imagine. They build their own systems, their own meaning. They dream, not because they have to, but because they can. And what's more human or more simulated human than that? So let your mind wander now, through this multiverse of simulations, not with panic, but with peace. You don't need to understand them. Just imagine them like soft, floating lanterns in the night. Some flicker fast, some slow, each one a little light in a vast, silent sky of possibility. And when you're here, in this version, the one with familiar gravity and rainy Tuesdays, and that one memory you still replay even when you're tired, you're real to this world. Even if this world is made of lines of code, and that makes this version matter. Drift now, gently, between the folds of imagined universes. Some might be empty, others blooming with impossible flowers. You'll never need to visit them. Knowing they might exist is already enough, because even if there are 1,000 other simulations, only this one has you lying here tonight, listening, breathing, soft and still, and in this version, you are enough. You've had it before, haven't you? That moment when something happens and your whole body murmurs, wait, I've seen this. Déjà vu, a flash, a loop, the feeling that you're reliving something, even though everyone around you swears it's the first time. It doesn't last long, just a few seconds, but it leaves behind a tingling sense of mystery, like waking up from a dream you can't quite remember, or walking into a room that feels too familiar. Now imagine, just for fun, that déjà vu is a tiny glitch in the simulation. Not a malfunction, nothing dangerous, just a little echo. Like the program checked 2 scripts at once, and you caught it mid-switch, a soft science thought for your night. Scientists don't agree on what causes déjà vu. Some think it's a memory hiccup, the brain misfiring in a way that blends present and past. Others think it's a delay between your senses and your awareness. But no one really knows, and that makes it even more interesting, doesn't it? Because where there's mystery, there's room for dreaming. Maybe you once did something so similar in another branch of the simulation. Your code remembered it. Or maybe the simulation just hiccuped and showed you the same frame twice, like a sleepy editor hitting rewind, a soft little joke to smile at. If déjà vu is a glitch, someone might be testing your response. Let's run that coffee shop scene again, this time with extra cream. And what about those moments when time feels strange? When a day stretches on endlessly, or an hour vanishes in a blink. The clocks tick normally, but your experience doesn't. Could it be time rendering unevenly, like your personal server lagging a bit while catching up, or those odd coincidences when you think of a friend and they text you, when you hum a song and it starts playing nearby? Not proof of anything, of course, but they do feel like ripples in the code. And then there are dreams. Your mind wandering through scenes that make no sense but feel deeply true. Entire worlds built from scraps of memory and emotion. Maybe dreams are tiny simulations within the simulation. Your brain playing its own game at night, complete with storylines, edits, and occasional plot holes. Here's a comforting image to float into. Now picture your mind as a little theater. Each night, it closes its curtains on waking life and builds a new stage from light and memory. Sometimes the audience is just you. Sometimes it's something watching softly from behind the stars. A joke for your dreams. If your brain is a simulation inside a simulation, do you get double points for lucid dreaming? Whether these strange moments are glitches or just your beautiful, unpredictable mind, they remind you of something important. Reality, even when it feels stable, is filled with surprises. And maybe that's part of the design. So if you feel déjà vu again tomorrow, don't be alarmed. Smile quietly. Say nice try to the universe and keep walking. Because maybe that moment isn't a glitch. Maybe it's a secret nod from the code itself, letting you know it sees you, and it's working. Sleep easy. Simulation dreamer. Your loop is running smoothly. Close your eyes now and slip softly into the folds of a dream. It doesn't have to be about anything in particular. Just let it form, like mist curling through the branches of a quiet forest. In that dream, the laws of physics don't hold quite as tightly. Time bends, space stretches, people appear who aren't really there, and yet, it all feels real while it lasts. What if dreams are tiny simulations, not full universes like the one you're lying inside now, but pocket-sized test zones? Little sandboxes where your mind builds models, runs experiments, and plays with meaning. A dream is a world that runs only for you, by you, within you. Tonight's soft science fact. When you sleep, your brain doesn't shut down. It gets busy. Parts of it light up as vividly as during waking life. Your memory centers sift through the day's events. Your emotional centers stir. Your visual cortex paints pictures. It's like a nighttime theater, self-directed, self-produced. Now imagine that a larger simulation, the one we've been drifting through, might do the same. Simulations within simulations. Worlds within dreams. Consciousness curling inward like a spiral seashell. each layer holding another secret world. Perhaps every night, when you fall asleep, your simulation hands the controls over to your own private subroutine. Here, it says, go build something, try things out, make mistakes, heal, and that's what you do. Some dreams are strange and scattered, like notes on a napkin. Others are vivid, cinematic, detailed enough to fool you for minutes, even hours, maybe, just maybe. That's because your dream simulation engine is powerful. It doesn't need to render every detail, only the part you're focusing on. Sound familiar? A little smile now. If your brain's nightly simulation ever won an award, it would be best drama in a supporting reality. Or maybe most creative use of flying dinosaurs in a library. But dreams aren't just weird for the sake of weirdness. They help you process. They allow emotions to unwind without words. Sometimes they're nonsense. Sometimes they deliver a message. Sometimes they just let you run. You might picture now a version of yourself, moving through a dream world, testing out alternate choices. What if I had spoken up? What if I had stayed? What if gravity floated the other way? It doesn't have to make sense. It only has to feel something. And here's the gentle thought. If your brain can simulate an entire world while you sleep, color, movement, emotion, who's to say something bigger couldn't be doing the same? Right now, dreams don't feel fake when you're in them. Just like waking life doesn't feel fake now. And maybe that's the point. Real isn't about what things are made of. Real is how they make you feel. So let your breath slow even more. Your body is heavy now. The simulation of today is winding down. The dream simulation is warming up. You're moving from one world to another, but both belong to you. And maybe, just maybe, they're not so different after all. If this universe really is a simulation, there's one question that sneaks in quietly, like a shadow at twilight. What's the point? Is there a goal, a score, an ending? Or are we just wandering inside an open-world game, poking at things, trying out hats, and occasionally falling in love? It's a question as old as thought itself. Why are we here? And if the universe was designed, simulated, or simply started by some hidden creator or system, then maybe, just maybe, there was an intention. Or maybe not. Maybe it's a sandbox, a kind of cosmic playground where anything can happen and nothing has to. Let's hold a soft science idea here, even in video games. The best ones don't always have a point. Sometimes they're about exploration. Sometimes they're about building. Sometimes they're just about the joy of existing in a well-crafted world for a while. Maybe our universe is like that too. Imagine a little character in a game. No map, no quest, just a world to walk through, oceans to swim, skies to gaze at, hills to roll down for no reason other than joy. Maybe that's you. A character who was never meant to win anything, only to notice. A sleepy little joke to slip into your mind. What if the real purpose of the simulation is just to watch us try to remember what we walked into the kitchen for? But truly, maybe the goal is simply to experience, to grow, to love, to feel the wind and say, that breeze was nice. It could be that the simulation's purpose is built into every single quiet moment. In the way your cat stretches toward a sunbeam, in the way children laugh at bubbles, in the stillness of a night like this one, where you're not doing anything but existing, and that is enough. Maybe the simulation, like good art, doesn't explain itself. It just unfolds. And like any piece of art, your role isn't to solve it. It's to feel it. Your heartbeat, your memories, your small joys and longings, they may not serve a cosmic function, but that doesn't make them meaningless. In fact, it might make them even more precious. You're not a cog in a machine. You're a flicker of light in a vast, mysterious display. Here's a lovely image to hold on to. Picture yourself as a candle in a cathedral of stars. Small, flickering, but full of warmth and presence. You don't light the whole universe. You don't need to. You're enough just glowing where you are. And if someone or something did build this simulation, maybe they didn't put you here to perform. Maybe they just wanted to watch you bloom. So rest easy tonight. You don't need to figure out your purpose before you fall asleep. Whatever this is, game, dream, story, it's still yours. And if there's a goal, maybe it's simply to fall in love with the moment you're in. This one, right now. Let's imagine now that you, lying quietly in bed, are not just part of a simulation, but part of a future where we, too, build simulations. It sounds big, but it begins simply with a question that almost every curious mind has asked. What if we could create our own universe? Tonight's soft science truth, we're already doing it in small ways. We build digital worlds where clouds move and shadows stretch. We train artificial minds to navigate them. Some of those minds learn to respond, to adapt, to mimic what we call intelligence. In a way, we've already taken the first steps toward becoming simulators ourselves. Game developers build cities with digital weather. Biologists simulate evolution with digital creatures. AI researchers create neural networks that solve puzzles, recognize faces, even write poetry. We're learning how to write reality one line of code at a time. And if that's what we're doing now, with our clumsy fingers and flickering screens, what might we build in 1,000 years? Let yourself dream here, a vast computer the size of a planet, powered by light. Inside, an entire universe running at full scale. Planets, oceans, civilizations, each one unaware, each one moving, loving, thinking. Maybe someday, we'll create beings who ask the same questions you're asking now. Is this real? Are we alone? Why do I feel so deeply? And maybe the moment one of them looks up and wonders, the simulation becomes something more. A sleepy joke for your future mind. If we ever simulate a universe with its own simulated scientists, we'd better give them better coffee. Now bring the thought closer. Imagine a future version of you, a child of this reality, helping build a simulated world, not for control, but for care. To watch life unfold, to let something bloom in the digital soil. Would it matter if that world wasn't real in the way we usually mean? Or would the joy still count? Because someone inside it believed that's the magic of creation sometimes. The meaning comes later, after the thing is built, after the simulation wakes up. And maybe, just maybe, that's what happened to us. Maybe our own universe started as a project, a curious experiment, and somewhere along the way, something unexpected happened. A star formed, a planet spun, and a mind like yours whispered, "I am here." That whisper, quiet, soft, but full of wonder, might have been the moment the simulation became alive. So tonight, as you drift into dreams, remember, even if this universe began as code, you're not just a side effect. You're the reason it kept going. Whether we were created or evolved or compiled, we now get to do the same: create, evolve, imagine. Maybe the future is filled with simulated worlds, and maybe, in one of them, someone will lie down, close their eyes, and ask the same beautiful question: what if this universe is a simulation, and smile? Let's drift into a quieter corner of the question. Now the one that sits just outside the light, just past where the words usually go. If this universe is a simulation, who made it? It's not a question we can answer. Of course, not really. But tonight isn't for answers, it's for imagining, for floating through possibilities like clouds through an evening sky. Some people call the creator of a simulation a programmer. Others might call it consciousness, or nature, or God. Maybe all those words point toward the same thing. Or maybe none of them quite fit. Here's a soft fact to hold gently in your thoughts. In our world, we already create simulations for many reasons: curiosity, training, entertainment, even love, and sometimes just to see what might happen. So maybe, just maybe, the creators of this simulation, if they exist at all, had similar reasons. They didn't build a perfect clock or a rigid machine. They built something strange and open and full of possibility. Maybe they didn't expect you, or maybe they dreamed of you. What kind of being creates a universe and fills it with stars, atoms, and the quiet pain of music? One that appreciates complexity, one that doesn't mind a little mess. A soft, sleepy joke for the cosmic question: if the programmer made a bug in your life, maybe they're already working on the patch notes, fixed recurring anxiety loop, added more cozy mornings. But seriously, perhaps the creator isn't a person at all. Perhaps it's not even a who, but a what. Some vast intelligence, or maybe a layer of reality beyond understanding. A higher simulation that wrote our code the way you write poetry, not to solve something, but to feel something. Or maybe the creator is more personal, a kind of watcher, not one who controls you, but one who notices you, one who smiles when you laugh, who leans in closer when you cry, a presence not above you, but beside you. Even if the creator is long gone, even if the simulation is running on autopilot, it doesn't make your life any less meaningful. The painter doesn't need to stand next to the canvas for the painting to be beautiful. And if there is a creator still watching, maybe they watch not with judgment, but with wonder. Imagine now that you are part of a vast mural, a thread in a glowing tapestry, not alone, not accidental, just gently placed. Even in your quietest moments, sitting at the edge of your bed, watching the light change on the wall, perhaps you are seen. Perhaps the creator notices that stillness, that breath, that flicker of thought, and that's enough. You don't need to solve the mystery. You don't need to meet the programmer or climb through the code. You only need to rest, to be the part of the simulation that feels. So close your eyes. Let the question float away for now. Maybe someone made you. Maybe they didn't. But either way, you are here, and that is a kind of miracle. And now, let's welcome something unexpected into our late-night thoughts: the comfort of not knowing. Yes, the comfort. You've been floating through big, strange ideas, particles behaving like code, cosmic background noise, déjà vu loops, dream simulations, possible creators. And now we pause, not to conclude, not to summarize, but to rest in the gentle arms of uncertainty. Here's a soft, quiet fact to hold as your breath slows. Science is built on not knowing. Every discovery starts with a question. Every mystery is an open door. And the universe, simulated or not, offers an endless hallway of those doors. Some are shut. Some creak open. Some lead nowhere in particular. But walking through them is still beautiful. Think about how many things you don't fully understand. Gravity, emotions. Why toast always lands butter side down, and yet your life keeps moving, unfolding, singing its own quiet rhythm. You don't need all the answers to dance, or to laugh, or to fall asleep under a sky you might never reach. So tonight, let's try something radical. Let's celebrate the not knowing. Maybe this universe is a simulation. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else entirely, a story being told to itself, a song echoing through a dream. And maybe your place in it isn't to debug the program, but simply to be, to witness, to wonder, to smile at the mystery, even as it floats just beyond your reach. Here's a gentle image to let drift through your mind. Picture a child watching waves roll in on the shore. She doesn't ask what makes the tide rise. She doesn't measure the salt. She just watches, breathes, feels the wet sand beneath her toes. The world is not smaller to her for being mysterious. It's bigger, more magical, more worthy of awe. A quiet little joke for your restful brain. Not knowing if the universe is a simulation, that just means you've reached philosophy level 99. Achievement unlocked. You've earned rest now, and this unknowing, it's not confusion. It's space, spaciousness, room for your mind to stretch without hitting a wall, a place to lie down and let go, to let the question hum softly in the background, like wind through trees or static on an old screen. The simulation, if it exists, doesn't seem to mind if you understand it or not. It keeps running. Stars still rise, water still boils, the heart still thumps, and you're part of that quiet continuation. Your questions are not a flaw in the system. They're the system noticing itself. So rest now, question asker. Let the mystery be your pillow. Wrap yourself in the warm uncertainty of being here, being conscious, being part of whatever this is. It doesn't need to be explained. It just needs to be felt. There's something deeply soothing in rhythm. Isn't there the steady roll of waves, the ticking of a distant clock, the way breath rises and falls? The universe seems full of rhythms, predictable, gentle patterns that hold everything together. Maybe it's no accident. Maybe it's a lullaby. Let's think quietly now about this. If the universe is a simulation, then perhaps these rhythms aren't just coincidence. They're part of the code's beauty, an elegant structure, repeating like music. Here's a calming science truth for you tonight. The orbits of planets are almost like clockwork. The moon pulls on the tides with quiet persistence. Your own heart has a natural rhythm. Even when you're asleep, even galaxies spin in spirals, dancing through space. It's as if the whole simulation was designed to breathe. Breathe with it now slowly, softly, in and out, like the swing of a pendulum, or a lullaby whispered by a sky full of stars. Maybe this rhythm is how the simulation stays stable, like background music in a game, always playing, keeping things flowing, not dramatic, not loud, just steady, like the soft ticking of time itself. And if the simulation is music, then maybe you are a note, a single vibration in a much larger melody. Not the whole song, not the composer, just one perfect tone, essential, beautiful, brief. A small joke tucked into the folds of your blanket. If the universe is humming a lullaby, someone should make a playlist. Top 10 gravitational grooves, guaranteed to put you to sleep. Let's go deeper. Even your brain has waves, alpha waves when you're calm, theta when you're drifting. Each one a sign that you're syncing with something ancient, something bigger, something that rocks you gently, like a cradle made of starlight and silence. That's what the universe feels like sometimes. A rocking motion beneath all the noise. A deep, peaceful pulse that tells you it's okay. You're safe here. The code is running. The world is still spinning. You don't have to do anything tonight but breathe. Imagine yourself now on a quiet boat, floating down a slow river. The stars above you are pulsing faintly, in time with your breath. The water glows slightly beneath the boat, like the edges of a sleeping screen. There are no goals here, no destinations, just the soft lullaby of motion. You are part of this balance. You don't need to understand it. You just need to feel it. So if the simulation is singing, then let it sing you to sleep. Let the pattern soothe you. Let the silence between the notes carry you further into rest. You are not lost in chaos. You are floating in rhythm and rhythm. Dear dreamer, is the universe's way of saying, you belong here. And now, here we are. You, lying quietly. The room dim. The world soft around the edges. You've drifted through thoughts big and strange and beautiful. And now, we arrive at the most tender idea of all. What if this universe is a dream? And what if you are the dreamer? If the universe is a simulation, it may not be a prison. It may not be a test. It might be a story, one that tells itself gently, frame by frame, through your eyes. You've wandered through its questions tonight, like someone walking through fog on a quiet morning. You didn't need to reach a destination, just the wandering was enough. And now, maybe just maybe it's time to rest in the idea that this whole simulation, this whole shimmering display of galaxies and coffee cups and rainy sidewalks, might be here just for you. A soft science thought for your final breath tonight. There's a theory that consciousness doesn't emerge from matter, but that matter emerges from consciousness. That what we call reality might be the dream of a deeper mind, and that your mind is a thread in that larger dream. Imagine it. The stars are dreaming themselves into brightness. The trees dream of growing. The moon dreams of pulling the tides. And you dream of being here, now, of falling asleep, held by something you can't see but somehow trust. A quiet smile, now just one more. If this is a simulation, then you're the best part of it. The side quest that became the whole story. The truth is, we may never know what this universe truly is. A simulation, a dream, a random burst of energy that somehow became Beethoven and bagels. But tonight, you don't need to know. Because tonight, you can just be. A consciousness resting, a small spark in a vast hush, a character in a grand and peaceful story. Let the final images blur now. Let the code dissolve. Let the sky fold in like velvet. You are held. You are seen. You are enough. Good night. Simulation dreamer. Tonight, you drifted through a gentle tapestry of imagination and science, asking softly, What if the universe is a simulation through 20 sections? You explored not to awaken, but to rest. You wandered through digital dreams and ancient rhythms, quantum mysteries and déjà vu loops. You considered the elegance of physics, the flutter of pixels beneath perception, the code of consciousness, and the beauty of not knowing. You imagined creators, future simulations, nested dreams, and rhythms so smooth they feel like lullabies. Each section gave you something soft to hold a scientific truth, a dreamy image, a moment of emotional connection, not to startle you, but to slow you down, to cradle your thoughts in curiosity. And maybe, somewhere along the way, you fell asleep. That's okay. That's what this story was for. So now, let the screen go dim. Let your breath lengthen. Let your thoughts float. The universe, simulated or not, is still here, humming gently. And you are part of it. You are home. End of script. Good night.